So, I'm just looking at this. So here are instructions to log on to Google Meet. Well done, you've done the first bit. You've typed your name to register. 2 people have handed this in already, and then we'll have a look at the textbook. Just to have a look at previous assignments then, because I've said that I want to, I'm going to start setting some bits today, so we can see seven people still have not handed this one in. Now I know different people have got reasons, but if that's you, please can you go back through and check that you have actually handed everything in. All of these ones were due, so this was the second task. We've got 12 people have handed it in there, and 10 have handed it in there, so as long as you've handed it on one of those. Simplifying algebraic expressions, still need a few people to do that. It might be that you've done your task on My Maths, but you just didn't press hand it in, and I'll be checking My Maths as well. That one's fantastic. Lots of people have done that. And substitution, again, because this was a My Maths task, it'd be great if you could just press hand it in, but I will also be looking on My Maths so I can see here who's done substitution 1 and who's done substitution 2 and so on. Alright, let's get on with today then. So today we are solving equations. You might feel like you've already done a little bit of this, and you sort of have. So let's take a look. So this is, I'm going to go through the lesson on My Maths. So here we've got busy and what are they called? Busy and dizzy. Okay, and they're from the alien race Tummies. So we're going to weigh them. So Busy gets on the scale. Busy's the red one. He weighs 15 grams. Dizzy gets on the scale, and it's gone up to, what does that say? So we're going up in 5s, 25, 26, 27, up to 28. So how heavy is Dizzy? Yeah, how heavy is Dizzy? So we know that Dizzy, green one, plus 15 gives an answer of 28. And here we're representing Dizzy's mass by a green alien picture. Later we'll be representing it by a letter, a pronumeral. So we think, okay, if we add 15 to Dizzy, we get 28. So to go backwards, we take away 15. And this method here is called using a function machine. Okay, we imagine it's kind of going through this machine, plus 15, and then back out the other side, minus 15. Okay, you might have just looked at that and just gone, I just know that it's 13, because 13 plus 15 is 28, and that's fine too. We call that solving by inspection, but it really is just like, I just know the answer. Okay, so here are 3 missing masses. I just want to check that, oh yeah, that's recording all of it, so find the missing masses. So I want you guys to take a moment to if you've got a pen and paper, I want you to try to write down 3 answers, wherever you are. I want you to try and write these answers down. I'm going to give you a moment to do that, and then I'll go through them. You should have gone through this. We can see here that 9 plus something is 24. You could think of it as 24 minus 9, which is 15. Something plus 11 is 21. You might just know by inspection that's 10, or you're doing 21 minus 11. And again here you might know just by inspection that it's 14, or you do 22 minus 8. Okay, well done. Now, we're not going to always use an alien symbol. We're going to, instead of using this green alien, we're going to use a letter. X often is used, but it could be any letter. And this is an equation. So how do we know when we have an equation? There has to be 2 things. There must be an equals sign. So you can't have an equation without an equals sign. If it just said x plus 8, then that's what we call an expression. As soon as it says equals 13, now it's an equation. The second thing we need is something that's missing, right? So this x is the thing that's missing, the letter, the pronumeral. And actually one of these tabs, I believe, is your guys. Okay, just bear with me. All right, so here are some key ideas from your textbook, and it involves also thinking about this idea of what an equation is. So solving an equation just means finding the value of the thing that's missing. So that's the pronumeral. Okay, sometimes there's one value that makes it work, sometimes there's more than one. Okay, so if we solve an equation, the things that we find are the solutions. So the solution here of x plus 8 equals 13 is x equals 5. Okay, so you can think of it like 13 minus 8. So the solution is x equals 5. The second thing is this unknown. So the unknown is x, just the pronumeral. So you might come across this word unknown. And we've talked about these different methods. One method of solving equations is by inspection. So sometimes you just call trial and error. You just go through some numbers in your head and we see which one makes it true. The second method we're looking at today is called this kind of function machine thing. So you think, okay, if I add 8 to x, I get 13, and I have to do the opposite. So we need to think about what is the opposite, and that's called an inverse operation. So I think you guys know this. I just want you to maybe write this down with a pen and paper. But what's the inverse of addition? Hopefully you said subtraction. What is the inverse of subtraction? You can put this in the chat as well if you like. I can't see the chat while I'm talking you through this, but if it makes you feel good, you can pop it in the chat as well. You can see each other's answers. Inverse of multiplication, division, and inverse of division is multiplication. So if you remember these inverse operations, then that's going to help. So how do we use those to solve an equation? All right. So to get x by itself using inverse operations, we think if I have x and I add 6 to it, I get 8. So we write that down like that. And then we think about, all right, we're going to take away 6. And you can almost think of an equation, I'm going to draw on here now, you can think of an equation like a balance. So the equals is in the middle, balancing it out. And if you put things on this side, you have to do the same to this side. So we've got two separate sides of our equations, and whatever we do to one side, we have to do to the other to keep it balanced. So in this example, we take 6 from both sides, and we get the answer 2. Right, you might just think, oh, I know it's 2, it's so easy anyway. I don't need to do that. Okay, can you please have a go at these equations? You can use any method you want. You can do it by inspection, or you can do it just by doing inverse operations. But somewhere I want you to write down these 5 answers, and then with a pen and paper, and then when I ask you, you'll put them all in a row in the chat, kind of like next to each other, in a row. Okay, so you'd write 15, 2, 7, 6, 1. Okay, I made those numbers up, but all in a row. So I'm going to give you a minute now to write down these answers. Okay, so you guys are going to know if you've got this right. This one is 8, then 6, because I'm thinking x times 6 is 36, so 36 divided by 6 is 6. Z minus 6 is 17, so I want to add 17 to 6 to get the right answer. And here I want to divide 40 by 5, which is 8. And here I want to multiply 6 by 7, which is 42. Okay, so if you put those answers, very well done. Okay, now here's a bit of a matching game. I think it's going to be hard for us to do this all together, book that you have to do today. So we're here. So you guys are doing these questions by inspection. Okay, this is exercise 10B, and you can do them by inspection or by inverse operations, so thinking about how to go backwards. So for example, I had 3p plus 2 equals 14. All right, what happened to p? It got multiplied by 3 and then added 2, so to 14 I subtract 2 and then divide by 3. But it does say do it by inspection, you can just try out some different numbers. So I'd like you guys to have a go at this. If you find that easy or you've still got spare time, then the optional, and it's optional extension, is to go through and look at the more problem-solving questions. There's lots of them here, and down into the harder bits, okay? But it's just these 3 questions that I'd like you to have a go at. All right, if you're feeling okay, can you pop a number into the chat? So a number 1, if you're completely happy. A number 1 basically means completely happy. A number 2 means kind of not really. And a number 3 means I really don't even know where to start. Okay, so a 2 means, yeah, I'm going to give it a go. And number 3 means I don't even know where to start. So can you pop a number into the chat so I can see where you are with that? And if you're a number 1 or a number 2, then if you want to, you can log off. I'm going to be on here for the rest of the lesson, which is another half an hour. If you're a number 3, then I suggest you stay on, and I will try and go through some more examples with you, and I'll give you a little bit more